On June 6, 1944, as Allied troops fought and died on the beaches of Normandy, high in the skies above the fray, thousands of U.S. warplanes lent vital support. And those planes were there, in part, thanks to the efforts of a little-known band of brave women far from the front lines. Women like Lucille Wise.
Well, I guess the last time I flew was in December 1944.
What was it like?
It was, well, it was hard to give up. I loved the flying.
At 93, Lucille is one of the few left to tell their story firsthand.
Why did you want to fly U.S. warplanes?
Well, of course, one reason, of course, was because I loved to fly. But I also wanted to help in the war effort. Everybody was so patriotic.
In 1942, the U.S. built thousands of planes in its war factories each month. These planes needed to be delivered to air bases, but pilots were in short supply. And so in the summer of 1943, a call went out for women to do the flying.
I was accepted in May of '43, one of the earlier classes, and I went on the train down to Sweetwater, Texas.
25,000 women applied, and 1,100 were chosen as Women Airforce Service Pilots, WASPs.
We were trained the military way, just like the male cadets were trained. We lived in barracks, we slept on metal cots, and we learned to march, and we were under military discipline. We had demerits, we had to make our beds in a certain way, and we had inspections.
The WASPs are willing to plow into as rugged a 6-month stretch as anything handed to women in the whole war effort.
It was very stressful because we had to meet the requirements. But I think that we did prove that women could fly those airplanes just as well as the men could.
The WASPs proved themselves again and again, logging more than 60 million miles in more than 12,000 aircraft, like the B-17s, B-24s, and P-51 Mustangs, that helped win the war. But while other women involved in the war effort, the Rosie, the Riveters, and their like lived on in our popular culture, after the war, the WASPs were largely forgotten.
I think every American should be aware of what these women sacrificed and did during World War II. It was during a time when women were not able to have careers and do things outside of their traditional roles. And this was an opportunity to be adventurous, to serve their country, and they did it in such a graceful and beautiful way.
Jill Bond is a filmmaker whose documentary, We Serve Too, hopes to give the WASPs their due before it's too late.
And how many of the women that flew for the WASP are still around?
There's under 200 women still left. So I feel a sense of urgency to get this story out so those that are still with us can see that they're being recognized and that the country is really rallying behind them.
While none of the WASPs saw combat, flying fast, powerful war machines was dangerous business. 38 women died in crashes. And since the women were classified as civilians, neither they nor their families received military benefits.
If a girl got killed, the parents didn't get anything, not a flag, nothing. Not even any acknowledgement that their daughter had been in the military.
All that changed in 1976.
A new era began with the arrival of the first female cadets,
when with great fanfare, women were admitted into the Air Force. The WASPs took notice.
And they were putting out news releases that for the first time women would be flying military aircraft. And they had just kind of forgotten about us. And so that's when we got organized.
They got organized and got results. In 1977, the WASPs were reclassified as military veterans and granted full benefits. But for Lucille Wise and the others, real recognition came in 2009 when President Obama signed a bill awarding the WASPs the Congressional Gold Medal. House Speaker John Boehner.
And simply put, the outstanding success that America achieved in the era during World War II would not have been possible without the Women Air Force Service Pilots.
Deanie Parrish accepted the award for all the WASPs at a Washington ceremony the following year.
I believe this is the day that when the people of America will no longer hesitate in answering the question, do you know who the WASPs were?
Today, more than 60,000 women serve in the U.S. Air Force, flying on the wings of a legacy that was almost left behind.
And those women give you the credit for opening the door for them.
They do, yes. If we had any part in it, I'm very pleased. They probably would have done it without us, but maybe we made it a little bit easier for them.